5 main priorities announced to bring country back on track. Malaysia-Singapore terminate HSR project after failing to reach agreement. Hello and good afternoon. I'm Mohana Priya. Welcome to Updates at Noon. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria extended 2021 New Year greetings to all Malaysians. With that, the Agong also expressed hopes that the arrival of the COVID-19 vaccine early next year can flatten the pandemic curve and break the virus transmission. In a statement from Istana Negara issued by the Comptroller of the Royal Household, Dato' Ahmad Fadil Samsudin, Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Aziza pray that the rakyat remain headstrong and steadfast in facing the challenges born of COVID-19, as well as for the swift resolution of the pandemic. To avoid getting infected, the rakyat is also reminded to adhere to standard operating procedures, as well as to take good care of their health and their loved ones. Meanwhile, Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Aziza always wish for the prosperity and harmony of the rakyat, which is heavily dependent on political stability and national administration. In an effort to maintain that stability, their Majesties advise politicians to cut their political tensions and agenda and instead to join forces and focus on the rakyat's welfare. Last but not least, their Majesties also called upon all Malaysians to jointly pray that the country is protected from all forms of threats and is blessed with lasting unity and prosperity. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin highlighted 5 of the government's priorities in 2021 to restore the country post-COVID-19. The first priority was to improve the public health level through the procurement of sufficient COVID-19 vaccines and launch vaccination programs throughout the country. The National COVID-19 Immunisation Plan, which comprises 3 phases, will be implemented in February.
Saya bersama petugas-petugas Barisan Hadapan akan menjadi antara orang yang terawal untuk menerima suntikan vaksin ini bagi membuktikan vaksin ini selamat dan berkesan. InsyaAllah, kumpulan berisiko tinggi seperti warga emas dan pesakit-pesakit yang mengidap penyakit tidak berjangkit NCD seperti penyakit jantung, diabetes dan penyakit pernafasan kronik juga akan diberikan keutamaan dalam menerima suntikan vaksin ini. Pemantauan keberkesanan dan keselamatan tetap akan diteruskan oleh bahagian regulatori farmasi negara.
However, the Premier reiterates that the vaccination is only a precautionary measure. Predetermined SOPs must still be adhered to according to all relevant movement control orders. The second is to strengthen the people-centric economy and drive the country's economic growth post-COVID-19 through the implementation of the 2021 budget and the 12th Malaysia Plan. The government is also ready to consider strategic fiscal and, in the case of dire need, such as Dunman 4 in the form of the economic stimulus package. However, this is subject to the current situation of the country's economy.
Apabila ekonomi rakyat kukuh, tentulah lebih mudah untuk kita memacu pertumbuhan ekonomi negara pasca COVID-19. Kita tidak boleh leka dan alpa dengan kejayaan yang telah kita kecapi hari ini, dan melalui rancangan Malaysia ke-12, satu strategi komprehensif akan diumum pada awal tahun 2021 bagi memulih dan merancakkan semula ekonomi negara. RMK-12 akan memberi tumpuan pada pemacu baharu ekonomi negara seperti ekonomi digital dan ekonomi hijau.
Speaking on the third priority, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the country's political situation throughout the year had been challenging, which affected investor confidence in the process. Therefore, mutual understanding among members of the Perikatan National Government would be continued to be sown and nurtured, while differences would be managed carefully. He also added that the government would continue to work to fight corruption and uphold the values of transparency and integrity. This initiative will give birth to a more conducive environment ecosystem, simultaneously expediting the process of economic restoration. And in a related development, the Prime Minister also assures that safety of the rakyat and country's sovereignty is in good hands. Comprehensive surveillance will be continuously conducted to combat all forms of threats, be it physical or cyber.
Kawalan terhadap sempadan dan pintu-pintu masuk negara akan terus diperketatkan manakala sebarang aktiviti pencerobohan atau penhidupan tidak akan terlepas daripada tindakan tegas. Ingin saya ingatkan, kerajaan tidak akan sesekali berkompromi dalam soal kedaulatan negara. Kerajaan juga akan terus memantau kadar jenayah baik yang bersifat fizikal maupun atas talian seperti skema yang makin berleluasa di masa ini.
Furthermore, in 2021, Malaysia will strive to play a more central role in the stage of the world. The Premier explained that the COVID-19 pandemic has restructured the global order and pried open a path for Malaysia to take the spotlight as a dynamic leader on an international level. Lastly, the fifth priority is enhancing the harmonious bonds among the multiracial society of Malaysia. Tan Sri Muhyiddin has faith that unity is the key to overcoming many challenges in 2021. The battle against COVID-19 is not yet over and instead is fiercer than ever, requiring the unity of the rakyat along with the Health Ministry to triumph. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said MOH efforts to curb the spread of the virus in the country still continue, and health facilities as well as its assets are currently adequate to handle the pandemic.
Perjalanan kita masih belum tamat dan peperangan kita semakin sengit, dan kita hendaklah bersatu dan kesepaduan kita yang akan membezakan sama ada kita dapat menangani COVID-19 ini dengan baik. Jadi usaha kita ialah untuk membendung penularan COVID-19 dalam negara kita, dan setakat ini alhamdulillah kita masih boleh bertahan, tetapi kita masih belum menang lagi.
Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham launched a book titled The Fight Against Uncertainty, Hospital Services Journey in Combating COVID-19, held virtually in Putrajaya. The 158-page book depicts a compilation of short write-ups with interesting photos on frontliners in the field of duty combating COVID-19. Those interested in viewing the book can head over to the Health Ministry's official website. Stern action to be taken on offenders involving frozen meat cartels. Stay with us. But first, the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail HSR project has been voided on 31st December 2020. According to a joint statement by Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin and Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, both countries will now proceed with the necessary action following the termination of this agreement. The Malaysian government had proposed several changes to the HSR project due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. However, after discussions were conducted to address these changes, both countries could not come to a mutual consensus. Thus, the agreement had to be terminated. Regardless, both countries remain committed to maintaining good bilateral relations and cooperation in the future. In December 2016, both countries signed an agreement to carry out the HSR project. In September 2018, both governments agreed to suspend construction of the project until 31st May this year to find the best way forward before once again extending it to 31st December last year. The Malaysian government has been reviewing the project with MyHSR Corporation to identify cost reduction options such as station locations and business models. The HSR was targeted to be up and running by 2026 and was expected to cut travel time between Kuala Lumpur and Singapore to just 90 minutes. The HSR line would have been 350 kilometers long, 335 kilometers within the country and 15 kilometers in Singapore. Any compromise or breach of trust in the conduct of regulation of import meats by relevant authorities shall be met with stern legal action. According to Minister at the Prime Minister's Department of Parliament and Law, Datuk Taqiyuddin Hassan, currently there have been no such reports as of yet. It was reported that the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPD and HEP, as well as Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia, JAKIM, are still conducting detailed investigation.
Siasatan dibuat berdasarkan perundangan. Jadi siasatan itu menjurus ke arah adakah keperluan-keperluan perundangan, requirement of law itu dipatuhi. Kalau sekiranya ada pelanggaran peruntukan undang-undang, tindakan akan diambil berdasarkan undang-undang itu lah.
Furthermore, he said he believes that since the meat cartel has become a big issue, the official announcement on the investigation outcomes will be done by the relevant ministers. The media previously reported on the activities of a cartel involved in smuggling frozen meat from several countries before repackaging the meat using the halal logo for the local market. The 2021 New Year sees the phenomenon of big waves crashing over the coast of Terengganu, posing a hazard towards residents living by the beach. This is because the state is still currently in the northeastern monsoon winds phase. RTM surveillance around Pantai Miami in Seberang Takir found that the seawater had overflowed into the main roads heading to the Kuala Terengganu City drawbridge. This situation prompted authorities to close one lane by the beach to avoid any unwanted incidents. State Meteorology Director Rosli Zakaria advised the public to remain cautious and vigilant towards the big wave phenomenon.
Met Malaysia telah mengeluarkan amaran angin kencang dan laut bergelora kategori ketiga, iaitu kelajuan angin dijangka melebihi 60 km sejam dengan ketinggian ombak melebihi 4.5 meter. Amaran ini berkuat kuasa sehingga 3 Januari 2021.